McCarthy.
Your corner. Are we ready? You ready?
The two-touch gloves, the champion in the red gloves, the challenger in the blue. They share three common opponents. Both of them have defeated Joey Villasenor and Matt Lindland in the past. While Jacare is 1-0 with 1-0 contest over Jason Miller, while Lawler is 0-1 against Mayhem.
A lot of movement out of Lawler early on. He's circling into the right hand of Souza, maybe hoping Souza will throw that right hand, get out of the way of it, and then come back with his counters. He's trying to bait him probably.
Souza sharpening his striking skills under the tutelage of some of the best strikers in the sport. Anderson Silva, Junior Dos Santos.
There's the kicks we expected from Souza.
Nervous energy coursing through the veins of the southpaw challenger Lawler.
It's getting me over here too. Lawler is just coiled up. I've never seen him so tight and just moving.
Launches an attack on Souza, clinches. Souza pins Lawler against the fence.
Showing a lot of power there, Souza, pushing Lawler back against the cage.
Wow. And Souza with the takedown on Lawler. If there is one area where Lawler is suspect, it is the submissions. Majority of his losses have come via submission. Wow. And this is not a place he wants to be against a guy with the credentials of Jacare Souza.
And
inside control.
Remember, we talked about Lawler not having his back against the cage because we felt that was one of the only ways that Souza was going to take him down. Souza put him against the cage. Lawler couldn't get his hips back. Souza gets the takedown.
Jacare just covering him like a blanket. Look how tight he is to him. He is not going to let him up.
He's hunting that arm of Lawler.
He's picking that elbow up.
Far side,
there's a wrist grip.
Now moving momentarily to north-south position, controlling Lawler very well.
Lawler's trying to bury that arm to make sure he can get it out of there if he needs to.
Souza now switches over to the other side. Now in north-south position, Lawler needs to buck and roll, needs to explode those hips, but easier said than done against Jacare Souza. And really, Pat, this is not where Robbie Lawler wanted to be at this stage of the fight.
No, you know, and Jacare Souza, you know, by fight time, what is he, 195, 200 pounds right now, but trust me, he feels like a refrigerator on your chest. Guys that are great jiu-jitsu guys know how to make you carry their weight, press down. It is not fun to be there.
Midway through the first round.
Now, Robbie told me there's no way Jacare is getting me down. How do you think he's thinking now? What do you think's going through his head now?
Well, he's doing a pretty good job so far.
The key is not to panic.
Yeah.
Watch out for the guillotine right here.
And that's how he succumbed to Jake Shields.
He's going to try and hit it. Lawler, good job on hand control, got out of there.
And Lawler able to separate back up on his feet, so he survives his first test. Right hand from Souza. Lawler with the tie clinch and a knee strike. Souza very happy to engage Lawler in a stand-up, got jacked with that knee, and I think Souza's hurt. Head kick from Lawler. Souza's on roller skates. Wow. Lawler going in for the kill. Robbie Lawler has Souza on his back.
Well, we got to be careful here. Don't get greedy. Don't leave an arm inside. He's going to end up like Fedor.
I guarantee Matt Hughes is freaking out in the corner going, why did you follow him to the ground?
And that's exactly what Fedor did against Fabricio Verdum, and we know how that ended up. But right now, Jacare Souza is given an opportunity to clear out the cobwebs, but there was no doubt that he tasted Robbie Lawler's power, and he did not like it.
Lawler has got to posture up. He cannot allow Jacare to control his arms like he's doing. He has got to sit straight up and get out. Get up.
And Jacare's feet control, the way he uses his feet are so fantastic. You see him stretching the legs of Lawler out, breaking his base down, shooting out of the way.
That's a great point, and pulling him back down to his, so they're chest to chest so he can walk his legs up.
Grabbed the fence. That's illegal, and he is being admonished now by Big John McCarthy. Final minute of the opening round. Jacare, of course, with a sterling guard game, known for the X guard, like Marcelo Garcia. Just very flexible and fluid. And Lawler, like you say, Pat, he has to posture up. He has to get out of this position.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to hang out on the ground with a guy like Jacare.
Final 30 seconds of the opening round. It's scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds for the Strikeforce Middleweight Championship. And referee Big John McCarthy may be giving Robbie Lawler a bit of a favor there, standing him up.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot going on, so it was a decent stand-up, I think.
And there's a liver kick from Lawler, the liver kick.
He learned a lot from that shield spike. It's the moment Jacare got up on his head, you saw him throw that shoulder forward and get out of there. He stayed in range to punch, but he did not let him pull on his head. That's how Robbie got caught. This is all about power. Look at that flying knee. He was coming for it, and that short hooking right hand stunned Jacare right there. Good on you to follow him up. Another one right there. Ooh, those shots, they weren't solid, but they were grazing him and knocking him around. Jacare was in a lot of trouble right there. I'm really surprised that Lawler jumped on him. And at the end of the round, Lawler pushing him back. That uppercut, oh, about shaved his eyebrows with that.
Yeah, we talked about the uppercuts, Frank, and I tell you what, you said grazing punches from Lawler. Grazing punches from Lawler are like getting hit with baseball bats.
There was a point in that opening round where the canvas turned into a sheet of ice for the Brazilian champion, and I doubt if he's ever seen the white stuff where he's from in South America. But he survived, as did Robbie Lawler survived, and we are set for round number 2. Luke Rockhold watching with vested interest, of course. He is also in middleweight on the Strikeforce roster, just chomping at the bit to get back inside the cage.
Oh, different feeling from Robbie now.
When they stood up after they were on there.
Massive welt over his right eye. On the forehead there, Robbie Lawler.
I think it's a scrape from the glove. That's what it looks like.
Is that a kick from Lawler?
Robbie throws them every once in a while. Got to get off the cage here.
Lawler again tries to sprawl. Souza's power pins him along the fence. Now looks for the takedown, scoops him up and drops Lawler to the canvas. But Lawler has his back up along the fence.
Nice bounce off the cage. That little Randy
Butterfly
action.
hooks.
Souza working his way up to mount.
Wow, full mount now by Souza. Lawler not panicking. It's interesting, we talked about Lawler being difficult to be taken down in practice by some NCAA Division I wrestling studs, but it's a whole new ball game when you're in the mixed martial arts cage, and so far Jacare has been able to take him down a couple of times.
Yeah, it's obviously impossible to get your hips back away from your opponent when you're stuck against the cage. That's why it's so important to stay off it when you're against a guy that wants to put you on your back.
Jacare is doing the right thing by not stepping backwards. I mean, he's stepping backwards when he's getting hit, but the rest of the time he's stepping forward trying to get this thing done.
Absolutely.
That's what's keeping him in shot for that takedown.
He's putting the pressure on Lawler here with ground and pound. You know, if I'm Lawler, I'm either going to try and get up. There's the arm triangle. Wow.
Souza's looking for the arm triangle choke. Immediately lets go, though, and Lawler stripping his hips.
Very sneaky by Jacare, and heads up by Lawler to stop it.
Souza into cross-side position. He found himself in this position in the opening round. Lawler was able to get back up to his feet. The veteran now looking to use the cage to...
Well, this for grappling, I like this position to hold people down. This one's a good one for me. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely makes the bottom guy nervous. You can take the arms, you can go to chokes. There's a lot of things you can do.
Stay on his chest, stay up near his head. That's what Robbie's got to play. He's got to get him off his chest.
We have passed the midway point of round number 2. The Strikeforce middleweight champion Jacare Souza in side control, dropping a right straight to the face of ruthless Robbie Lawler.
And Rob smiled.
Probably means he was hurt. And you're right, those are lacerations on the side of Lawler's forehead. And Souza continues to control. He's very content and now beginning to get busier with his striking offense.
Robbie needs to get himself moving. Got to get the hips moving. Got to get up.
Well, even if he's not getting damaged, he looks like he's being controlled and dominated.
Well, and without a doubt, Jacare is winning this round, scoring points and killing the clock.
He is being controlled and dominated. That's the point. And Lawler definitely has to find a way. And again, against Jacare Souza, this was not where they wanted to be, and you're right, it's going to be interesting to say what the corner, if he's able to escape this round. Souza looking to his corner from some advice, and now looking to go to mount. Nicely done by Lawler, but he's now getting tagged with some strikes from Jacare. And again passes guard into side control.
Souza's a buzzsaw on the ground, man. This guy is amazing.
check in with his corner there, get a time check.
Minute left. Here's the leg lock.
Uh-oh. Wow.
There it is.
Final minute of the second round, and it's all Jacare Souza. Now on his feet, Lawler looking to use his feet to keep Jacare away. Now,
armbar.
Giving up his back. Jacare going for the arm.
Wow.
Looking for the armbar.
Lawler got it out.
Able to defend.
Wow.
What a great exchange of techniques. Robbie Lawler running down the submission chains.
Armbar again.
Going for that armbar. It's Jacare Souza. Final
Flip over. He's got to flip over. Keep running.
Beautiful.
There we go.
And another escape by Robbie Lawler, much to the delight of this crowd here in San Jose. He avoids a couple of submission attempts from the submission magician, Jacare Souza. But he'll have to send a message to the judges in the final 10 seconds because this round has belonged to the Strikeforce middleweight champion.
Big breath from Lawler, but Jacare still laying on the canvas and smiling. Well, submission holds with the name of the game. Jacare knows he's got to go for a hold here. He's in great position. Once he got Robbie to his side, boom, you're vulnerable for the armbar. He rolled right over the top of it and darn near got it right there. But Robbie able to turn his elbow and keep the arm from being straight, and then it became a scramble for position once again. Jacare is winning that game every time, though, keeping that side mount and the top position. And here's Robbie defending against that arm. He flipped himself. He did a cartwheel over to get himself out and get that arm from out of bad position. Nice move. Robbie is flowing, man.
Been watching some Sakuraba tapes.
High-level escape against a high-level black belt. That was sweet on Lawler's part, too. I mean, these guys are going at it. Good stuff.
But here's a statistic that Robbie Lawler definitely wants to change. Thus far, 7 minutes and 21 seconds of this bout has been contested on the ground. Only 2 minutes and 39 seconds in the stand-up. That's where Lawler wants to keep this fight.
The equivalent of ball control in football, right, Morrow?
You better believe it.
Well, he's got to get back on that bicycle like it was before.
And there's the tie plum from Souza. Lawler with some body shots, but he's eating those knee strikes. Able to block some of them with his arms, doing a good job of turning into them. But now it's Souza going for the single leg.
Lawler's got to get wrist control here, power his leg out of that single. Yeah, he's got wrist control there. Cannot spend this round on his back, obviously. And Jacare obviously doesn't want to be on his feet.
Knee.
Souza changes levels. Lawler tries to defend, but Souza able again to secure the top position. Lawler frustrated, nodding his head.
Pat, how come when Jacare shoots in, he leaves his head in the middle between his legs like that, Lawler's legs?
Well, a lot of times I think guys are defending against chokes, but, you know, also it gives him a lot of power just to lock his hands, gives him more reach to lock his hands, I think, and then he's able to pull Lawler's legs out from underneath him.
I like how Lawler just turns his body sideways or his forearm a little bit and just sort of stops that forward progress.
Knee right to the ribcage by Souza. Lawler gets back to his feet, but he has to be careful. Oh, looking for the sweep. Nicely done by Souza. Now he's got Lawler's back, and this could be dangerous. Gets the one hook in, gets the other hook in. And Lawler now has to try to defend the Mataleon, the rear naked choke.
Figure four on the body.
Another body triangle, and that could spell the beginning of the end.
Really bad positioning for Robbie Lawler. He's got to keep that chin down. He's got to get his back to the mat. He cannot hang out here. This is a ticking time bomb.
2 of Souza's 10 submission wins have come via rear naked choke. Make it 3. Jacare Souza retains the Strikeforce middleweight championship via 11th career submission. And there is the alligator. was able to soften Robbie Lawler, was able to take him down, wear him down, and at the precise moment was able to secure the body triangle and vanquish Robbie Lawler via third-round submission, and submissions remain ruthless Robbie Lawler's Achilles heel.
Souza did a good job imposing his will, his game plan. Lawler had to keep his back off the cage, did not do that. Every time Lawler's back was on the cage, he got taken down, Frank.
And he had a moment. He had a moment when he had him hurt. When Jacare was hurt. Here he is, finishing the choke. Yeah, like a short choke there. He's looking for position. He's looking for position. And you saw him right there. Sink it all the way under. And that thing is deep. You saw Robbie go, yeah, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah. You know, when he had the short choke, had his hands locked, he felt his hand was underneath the chin securely enough to where then he could move on to the Monteleone or the rear choke and finish it. And this guy's good, man.
Great patience. Great finishing holds. Robbie needs a little bit more patience on that stand-up game.
Yep, and Jacare showed a lot of heart coming back from getting blistered in the first round and getting dropped.
Wow, just stand-up versus ground time on the CompuStrike pad. I mean,
yeah, the time, like we talked about, ball control in football, you know, majority of the fight was spent on the ground. That's where Souza wanted to be. That's why he won.
And let's take it up to Jimmy Leonard Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the 2-minute mark of round number 3, the fighter taps out. A rear naked choke ends this contest. He is the winner by way